Good day. Good morning from me, B. So this morning I want to talk about history, not in a conventional sense or the type of history that would have been projected onto you at school, but his story, their story, your story. Sometimes in the morning on the way to school, my son and I listen to some podcasts on the BBC. I think I mentioned it before. This morning we were listening about Mary, the Queen of Scots, and realised that her mother was French. Knew that obviously her father was Scottish. I didn't know that he was 5'4" and Mary's mother was tall. The truth is, I didn't actually realise a lot. And that's not through my own naivety. It's not through not wanting to know, but it's just through understanding that there is limited capacity internally for us to store all that data. Now, when we listen back to scholars talking about what they believe to be true about that period, what is documented, at times, despite reading the same text, there can be multiple stories, multiple views. History's littered with it. Documentation which is manipulated in a way of which best suits the scriber, the writer, the storyteller. Now, as we have very limited capacity, storage facility, I think it's wise that we really decide how our story is going to be played out, what we're going to apply, what is true to us and our version of truth, what we decide to write, ultimately what our story is going to be. Now, in my world, his story is not just about learning from the failures of the past or understanding the successes and appreciating those so we can apply them to our own life, but more so being consciously aware of it on a daily basis and deciding really how we want to be remembered, how our story is going to unfold, what his story is going to be. Now, in Islam, there's the saying that it is written. I believe that, but it is written by us. We are controlled by a greater being, an energy, whatever your belief structure is. There's no getting away from the fact you define, you control, you have the ability to control history, your story. And if you have a limited space, a limited capacity, a limited storage system, would it not be best to utilize that in a way of which is going to support, benefit, assist, motivate, encourage that story? Now from my understanding, it was attempted to marry Mary off as a baby, but she fled to France. She had a story which actually didn't evolve into where it was going to be, but her story was written. Her story was predefined by family, connections, expectations. Now, things have changed, yet what I find is that people are still living in a pretty archaic way of thinking where they put themselves on a path, a story, a predefined route as it is written, which is heavily outdated. They've given that responsibility to another, but the true or a version of truth is that you have absolute control. Right now, as I'm driving, I have the choice, conscious choice, to turn left, go into a bush, turn right to go into a ditch, just stay on the path. Now, the better option for me is to stay on this path, to stay on the road. But if there was a turning, which there is up here, and there are two choices that I have, each defining my own history, left or right, the choice I have is left or right. It's a field in front of me, so I cannot go straight. I'm going right because it supports my destination, a conscious destination of which I have chosen. Now, if I go left, it's possible to still arrive at where I want to go, but it's going to take me a lot longer. And there is a lot of value to be had. It's important not to get away from the fact that there is a lot of value to be had at looking at history, at another story. There is masses of value if you are of the understanding that it is manipulated for that time based on the reality of the world at the time of which it was written and understanding the motives of that individual. If you can read and look at any text, that mindset, understanding that perhaps it was their truth and not the truth, then there is vast learnings to be had from another story. So I guess what I'm saying today and where the invitation is to accept, perhaps, if this works well within your framework, but accept that it is written, but on your terms. And if you are unhappy with the direction of which you are going, or how your story, his story, may unfold for you, then the choice is left and right. The choice is an alternative direction. And that can be fearful, especially if you are unaware of which or what lies to the left. However, the other option is that you follow the pre-existing, settle for results or failures that may bring. That is the choice. That is the history. That is your history. So that's the invitation. Decide, do you want to turn left or right today? Do you want to change your story, or are you settling for your predefined history because it is written that way? So that's it from me, B. Have a good day. Peace out.